Why are analysts saying nothing will stop XRP? In this video, we are going to break down a bold claim that's catching serious attention in the crypto market. Nothing will stop XRP. This statement comes from a long-term technical analysis shared by XRP Queen, a respected market observer who analyzed over a decade of XRP price data. Her chart suggests that XRP is not just moving randomly, but following a repeatable market cycle that has played out several times before. So what makes this analysis powerful is not hype or short-term price action, but structure, historical behavior, and mathematical price projections. According to the data, XRP may already be in the middle of a major expansion phase with significant upside still ahead. So the big question is, why do analysts believe this trend is unstoppable? So let's break it down step by step. So, what long-term pattern is XRP repeating? XRP's long-term chart reveals a repeating market rhythm that has remained consistent across multiple cycles. Over the years, XRP has followed a familiar sequence: consolidation, breakout, expansion, and then correction. During consolidation, price moves sideways, often inside symmetrical shapes known as triangles. These periods are not signs of weakness. Instead, they represent accumulation zones where long-term investors quietly build positions. Once XRP breaks out of these structures, the market enters an expansion phase where price rises rapidly in a relatively short time. After the expansion, XRP cools off through a correction, but importantly, these corrections tend to hold above key trend support, preparing the market for the next move higher. What makes the current situation notable is that XRP appears to be repeating this same structure once again, almost step for step. So, why are symmetrical triangles so important for XRP? Symmetrical triangles have played a critical role in XRP's historical price action. Across multiple market cycles, XRP traded within these tightening ranges for long periods before making explosive moves upward. These triangles represent a balance between buyers and sellers. As volatility compresses, pressure builds, eventually leading to a decisive breakout. In XRP's case, these breakouts have historically resulted in steep upward advances, not minor gains. What's important is that these patterns didn't form overnight. They develop over years, which adds weight to their reliability. This tells analysts that XRP's moves are not impulsive, they are structurally driven. In the current cycle, XRP has already broken out above its most recent triangle, which is a major technical confirmation. So, what confirms XRP's current uptrend is still strong? One of the strongest confirmations in technical analysis is when old resistance turns into new support, and that's exactly what XRP has done. Between late 2024 and early 2025, XRP surged over 500%, decisively exiting its long-term consolidation range. Failed breakouts usually fall back into the range quickly, but XRP did not. Instead, the price stayed above the zone and began forming higher lows with each correction. This pattern signals strength, not exhaustion. Each pullback has been shallower than the last, reinforcing the idea that buyers are stepping in earlier with more confidence. As long as XRP continues to respect this rising support structure, the broader uptrend remains intact. So, how do Fibonacci extensions point to much higher prices? To estimate where an expansion phase might end, analysts often use Fibonacci extensions, and XRP's past cycles provide a clear roadmap. So let's go back to the chart. So in the previous expansions, XRP it topped out near the 1.272 and 1.618 Fibonacci extension levels. These levels didn't act as resistance early on. Instead, they mark the final stages of major bull runs. When those same measurements are applied to the current cycle, the results are striking. The 1.272 extension sits around $8.44. The 1.618 extension aligns near $27.23. These numbers aren't random predictions. They are based on historical price behavior. What's even more compelling is that other independent analysts have also identified the $27 level as a potential long-term target. This convergence adds credibility to the projection. So, why is the $1.47 level so critical for XRP? One of the most important levels on XRP's chart is the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement located near the price of $1.47. So let's go back again at the chart. In the previous cycles, holding above this level signaled that XRP was still in an active expansion phase. Losing it, however, often lead to deeper and longer corrections. So far, XRP has reclaimed and defended this level. Even during notable dips in late 2025, the price stayed above $1.47, suggesting that buyers are firmly in control. As long as XRP remains above this retracement and respects rising trend support, the broader structure remains valid. So, has XRP market cycle actually finished yet? According to the chart analysis, XRP's current cycle is not yet resolved. The asset is still positioned within the expansion phase that historically precede much higher prices. There is no technical evidence suggesting a final top has formed. Instead, the structure mirrors earlier stages of past bull runs before XRP reached its historical peaks. In simple terms, the market hasn't shown the signs that typically appear at the end of a cycle. That's why analysts believe XRP's upside potential is still unfolding. And finally, my own personal opinion about this is that this is one of the strongest long-term XRP setups we've seen in years. The combination of repeating historical patterns, sustained support, higher lows, and aligned Fibonacci targets paints a compelling picture. That said, no asset is ever truly unstoppable. Market-wide events, regulation, and macroeconomic conditions can always introduce volatility. However, based strictly on structure and historical behavior, XRP appears to be positioned for continued upside rather than a completed move. If the asset continues to hold key levels and follow its established cycles, the long-term outlook remains decidedly bullish. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one.